Good morning, English 9. This is Mrs. Sopiarz-Rianda. I hope you had a fantastic weekend and you are ready for the last big push of this semester. This week is the last week with new content, new curriculum, new material. As you can see, the due date for Session 4, Unit 4, Session 4 is this Friday, December 13th. I want to say that one more time. I'm going to be saying it actually way more than one more time. Your assignments from this session are due this coming Friday. You will not have next weekend to submit this work. All this work is due by Friday. All the work that is required for this session is completely doable within the time frame of this week. Remember, I just give you that weekend as a cushion, as kind of a luxury to submit your work, okay? All the work that is provided for you can be done within the time frame of Monday through Friday, okay? And that's what's required this week. Your work is due by the end of the day, by midnight, Friday. Now, the good news is that I just finished grading all of the rough drafts that were submitted by this morning. Okay, so you have what you need to start this session. So click on Materials, click on Unit 4, Session 4, Writing in the Genre. Now again, this is the last week of new content. Next week is final week, and this will be a chance for students to complete late work and or redo assignments to get their grades where they want them to be. That's why this is our last week of new materials, because next week you'll have that opportunity to submit late work and or redo assignments to increase your grade if you want to. So click on Session 4, the editorial writing assignment. So I provided for you again that this is the same information from Session 3 as far as the requirements and guidelines for your editorial. Be sure that you have an introduction with a hook and thesis, that you have a body and conclusion like other news articles, that you are objective and you explain the issue, that you have a timely news angle, which all of you do, that opinions from the opposing viewpoint that refute directly the same issues that the writer addresses. So make sure you have that counterclaim in your editorial. And this shouldn't just be one sentence. Your counterclaim should be a short paragraph, at least. The opinions of the writer delivered in a professional manner. So good editorials engage issues, not personalities, and refrain from name calling, which none of you have done. Then an alternative solution to the problem or issue being criticized. Anyone can gripe about a problem, but a good editorial should have a proactive approach to making the situation better. So by using constructive criticism and giving solution. So, and that's a place that in your conclusion you give, it summarizes your opinion, but you provide possible solutions to ponder and inspire readers to reflect. Okay, so that's the job of the conclusion. And again, down here is that rubric that I'll be using along with a student example. So be sure to review both of those elements before you submit your final. So here are some questions to help guide you through your initial revision. Make sure that you go through them and thoughtfully revise your draft. Submit your rough draft here for peer review, and then provide two other responses to students' paper. In your feedback, share one thing that you think they did well and one thing that they could improve on. And then also answer any questions they may have asked in their work or in their post. So after you do the peer reviewing, what you'll do is review the first draft feedback from me and revise accordingly. If you submit your final draft and did not make revisions from your first draft, I'm simply going to say, go to your first draft and review my feedback. You are required to go back to your first draft, which again, everyone's first draft is graded. So go back there and check my feedback before you submit your final. There's a reason this is the first bullet, okay? Because I don't like to repeat myself if I have already given you feedback. I've spent a lot of time giving you feedback, and I would like for you to use it. That's how you develop your writing and you become a better writer. Review those requirements and guidelines. Make sure that you go through all of the different elements of an editorial and that you have them in your editorial. Make sure your editorial has a clear thesis statement. Make sure it's written in clear paragraphs. This should not be an introduction, one body paragraph, and a conclusion. It should have clear paragraphs, multiple paragraphs. Again, look at that example, student example editorial. Read the papers sentence by sentence from the end, from beginning to end. Watch for spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Make sure your editorial is double-spaced and a one-page minimum. Once you've gone through this second revision process, it's time to submit your final draft. You will be submitting your final draft into turnitin.com. Now, there are two parts to this editorial assessment. One is the actual editorial, part one, that you'll be submitting into turnitin.com. And the part two of the editorial are the reflection questions, which are right here. So you will be responding to these questions in thoughtful and well-written sentences. Click Next. Here are directions on how to submit your editorial into Turnitin.com. We used Turnitin.com earlier in the semester, so you should all have an account already. And if you already have an account, all you have to do is log into your account and submit your assignment to the editorial. Sorry, I'll change that. That should say editorial. If you do not have a Turnitin.com account, then here are the directions to do so. If you have any questions, this is a great little tutorial on how to create an account and how to submit assignments. This video was created by Mrs. Kipp, so but it doesn't matter. It's just a different assignment, but it's still just a good tutorial if you need it. Be sure that when you submit your editorial that you wait, number 7 right here, wait an hour or two and then return to Turnitin.com, because it allows you to check your paper for grammar and spelling mistakes. And then you can go back and revise it accordingly, and it shows you potential problems with plagiarism. Okay? Click on Originality and Grade Mark at the top of the page to see those reports. And then you can resubmit. If you want to revise it again, you can resubmit your editorial, okay? I want to highlight this bold sentence. You are required to submit your assignment into Turnitin.com. Otherwise, it will not be graded, okay? So please don't email it to me or message me in Schoology. This drop box on this page is enabled, so that means you can't submit anything here. You have to turn it into Turnitin.com. If you have any questions, you need to contact me this week if you are having trouble with Turnitin.com, but it's very friendly. Just follow these directions step by step. So that's part 1. Part 2, you will submit part 2 into the Dropbox. So answer these reflection questions in complete, thoughtful, and well-written sentences, and then submit them into the Dropbox. And then that's the end of the session and looking ahead. So looking ahead, again, is final week. Final week is a chance for all students in every class to complete late work and or redo assignments. There will be no new assignments next week, but you will have a chance to submit and resubmit past work. Okay, so attendance next week during final week is required. You are expected to log in to English 9 every day. And all work from final week is due by midnight Wednesday, December 18th, because I do need time to grade it before I post grades on Friday. Okay, so that's the end of the session and looking ahead. If you have any questions about anything this week, please contact me. I just want to reiterate one more time that all the work from session 4 is due by Friday, December 13th. And all your first drafts of your editorials are graded. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great week. Last big push.